Hi, folks. Hank SixFourTrading. It is Sunday, 4/21. Happy Easter to everyone. And gold is going through the roof again, nonstop, freight train to the upside. There's a lot of narrative going on. There's the stuff with China and Trump. I don't even want to get into like what it is. Doesn't really matter, but it's not an agreement or negotiation. So if it's not an agreement or negotiations, those things are affecting the markets and affecting the economy directly, affecting your pockets directly. So that's what's going on out here. This is going up. Let's take a look at the dollar. Dollar is shooting down. That means they're selling the dollar, they're buying gold. This is what's going on right now. There was this I wasn't going to talk about Trump's tweet, but Trump did tweet something about gold. Whoever, has the gold can control the narrative or something like that. Dollars are the RSI is going through the floor on the dollar right now. So people are running to gold, as they should. Gold is a safe place. You don't know what's going on with this right now. Tariffs are not good. I don't care what you're talking about. They're not good. Unless there's a negotiation on lowering them across the board for everybody, then things are better for all of us. We get things a lot cheaper. Things don't cost as much, right? That's what you want in an economy, anybody's economy. Let's go take a look at the yields. Yields are jumping up this today. Right now, as I'm making this video, they're jumping up. Why? Because of the information. You got the dollar going down. You got the gold going up. So if these are flying up and gold's going up, dollars going down, well, guess what else? The NQs. Let's go to the SPY. Those things are trending down the futures market. The NQs are doing the same thing. And I'll come back to this. This trend line I've been watching on both of them, they're unable to break above it. I've been watching this. They've been rejecting it. The NQ specifically has been trading in this range box over the past 2 weeks, a little over a week, actually. And now we're getting to the bottom of that box. If we break out that box, we maybe hit it back down lower to this low level here around 16,335s. On ES, same deal, rejecting that line. This really shot down, came down to this area of 4850s. And now we're just trending back down again. We got a lot of indecisiveness, but what I'm seeing here is upper wicks. When you start getting long upper wicks, I mean, sellers are in control of that area and they're pushing the equity down, pushing the stock down. Now let's talk about Meta, Google. We're going to talk about tech, the tech sector. Why? The tech sector has been leading everything. NVIDIA, Tesla, all these guys. Tesla's considered in that same basket as well. But they've been leading the market rallies over the past two years, and I'm going to show you guys that. They've been running things up. And let's talk about that first before I go into those equities. Let's take a look at the NQs. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at the SPY. And then we'll go to a monthly chart here. Probably take this one off. We may come back down to this area at some point. But look, this is COVID right here, March 20th, right? We had a big sell-off for 2 months, almost on COVID. The Fed changed rates to zero. Happy market day, happy everybody. And the market shot up. This is the beginning of 2022 where we had like a bear trend coming down. Then there was market was hoping, saying, well, you know what? I think the Fed's going to pause. We got the Fed pause. We started moving up, started pulling back a little bit. Then we got AI. And then we just poof, we just ran. And we had a Fed pivot too. Not just the Fed pause, we got a Fed cut in this line, rallying this thing up too. So what I notice is there's a lot of froth, right? And I'm going to show you, let's go to Google and I'm going to come back here to SPY. I'm going to go to Google real quick. This is a monthly chart on Google. It follows the market, right? So we had a lot of froth here. And I'll go into, let's go to a weekly chart. Froth, right? Why was this up so much? What was Google doing? Did Google do something? No, they're following NVIDIA. Everyone was buying everything, right? So these little pullbacks which people are like, oh my God, we're down 50 points on Google or 50 points here or 100 points here, is no comparison from COVID. Let's talk about Google, from being at $50 to $200 a share. So rightfully so, what you don't like, you normally trade within we were trading in a channel, right? The market's always going up. It's always it's going up in waves. It goes up, it pulls back, but it's always trending up. You got COVID and you haven't had race to zero like since when, right? And so the market took advantage of that and it rallied from 50 all the way to 157. Well, that got taken out after it realized it was, got to a point that said, well, wait a minute, we don't know what's going on. This was 22. And I believe this was when Trump was in office. I'm not saying it had anything to do with him, but it was just the nature of what he walked into. So things were uncertain, right? The Fed. So what happened is we hit here and then we said, oh crap, we have an inflation problem. And the Fed jumped in with like, we're going to have to start raising rates. So we got this sell-off because interest rate had to be continuously being raised because of what they did back here. The Fed knew we were going to have that. Don't think that they were surprised about this. They knew when they dropped this rate to zero, they were going to have an inflation problem later on. That ticked up at the end of the year. And so they started raising rates and the market dropped. Now, there was anticipation of a Fed pivot. The Fed was leaning very dovish, and you got dovish Fed FOMC President Jerome Powell. The dovishness caused this rally push up to here, right? From 89 all the way to 157. And then what happened? Then you had a slight pull, like, wait a minute, we don't know what's going on. NVIDIA, the rate cuts, and then NVIDIA AI jumped into the boat, and this thing just started running up more. I think what actually was right around here, it started running up more. That's the narrative we've been in. So guess what? There's no more AI hype. We've gotten it out of our system. We understand inflation, non-inflation, rate cuts. We've been through all of those changes already. So people are conditioned to that. What is new now? Tariffs. Tariffs are new. We're like, oh, that's the black swan that jumped up on everyone's back, was the tariff situation. And so now you have stuff selling off. So on top of that, you have layoffs, which is government's getting massively laid off. Government contracts are getting cut massively. So that's cutting private sector jobs, which is a domino. Things are connected to each other in our economy. Food is connected, food companies connected to the materials they need to make the food. Right? If they don't get those prices go up, they have to raise prices. They can't give raises like they want to. They have to cut costs somewhere on employees so they keep the business running. Like, there's so many things going on that are affected by every decision that the administration or the economy is making. And so with that being said, this pullback is nothing to me. Like, I know people are like, oh my God, the market's going down, but look how much you've gone up since COVID. You've jumped outside of the normal regulation. This was the normal movement over time. Then you accelerated that time. It corrected itself here and pulled back into that channel. So where do you think this is going to go? Where do you think this is going to go? Back into this channel. And this is just one stock, but I'm just saying this is the market. This is everything, right? If Google was trading in this channel and it jumped out of here on froth, because jumping out of here was rate cuts, oh my God, everybody got happy and excited, and video, all that stuff is wrapped up into here. This is pause, cut, this whole line is pause, cut, AI. All that's all understood, over with, and not new anymore. So then you get tariffs, but this came before tariffs. This thing just started selling off because it was too hot. Because the market was like, now what? What do we have as a catalyst to keep going at this rate, at this percentage rate, at this arc that we're going at? These arcs I call anomaly arcs outside of the normal channel. You have to come back into the fold at some point, and we're getting there in a quick manner. especially here. So if you don't think we have more downside, that's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I might be wrong, but I believe this is going to come back down to this channel. And at what we have going on in the world, in the macro environment and everything else, this may actually break below this channel. If we come into this, if we're going to come directly into this. So depending on what time, because this thing is going fast, I mean, we may come back before you go into things like this. You always seem to test the top of it before you come back into it. Now we kind of consolidated here when we had started getting those rate hikes. We consolidated before we broke into here, but we ended up breaking into here nonetheless. I think we come back into this channel. I think things have to get back into their original order. And that order of things is break it back into this channel and continue on that path, because that's how we've been once we started this uptrend. All right, so that was Google. That was a lot talking about Google, but that's just basically everything in the market. Meta's going to be the same deal. There's a channel here. It broke out of that channel a couple times. This is my daily chart. This is my oversold indicator. I turned that on. Oversold here. Look at this. Oversold here, bounced off that line. Oversold here, bounced off that, bounced up. We're not oversold anymore. Meta's down from $700 down. It came all the way down to what, 482s? That's a lot. It's almost 300 points. That's crazy, right? In a short period of time. And we just got oversold when it's just sold off 300, because that's how frothy this thing was. It didn't sell off 100 and got oversold. This thing sold off $300, 300 points before it became oversold. Let's jump over to NVIDIA, right? Talking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is oversold, but look on the daily chart, it just triggered the oversold. After all of that run up, it's done. And remember, this is not $100 really. It was this is what I look at this being $1,000 before they did their split, their stock split. It's $1,000 a share for NVIDIA when I see 101. And it just got oversold. So I think we have more downside, and we're not anymore, right? We bounced up, we hit this trend line, got back into it, bounced up. I think we still have more downside on all of this. And there's something that you have to notice. There is a gap. All gaps must get filled. That's the rule. It always happens, right? At some point, there's a gap down here, $30 a share for NVIDIA. That needs to be filled. Check this video. I don't know when it's going to do it, but it might do it quick. I mean, the way things are coming down pretty fast. This gap will get filled at some point. At some point, all gaps get filled. This gap here got filled probably not too far after this. August, this is May of 24. That gap got filled. So that's over with. The next real gap is another one down here. Actually, you know what? That looks like a big gap. Let's take a look. My eyes, they just used to conform to the spotting and stuff. This is a gap right here. That's unfilled. Right underneath this line that we have. At 76. So this gap needs to get filled. This gap needs to get filled. But forget about gaps. It's still frothy, right? People are upset that things are selling off, but I think they have a lot more room to the downside. It doesn't have to be that way, but because we have tariffs, because we have people getting laid off, because of inflation, because things are going higher, because of the auto industry and all of this stuff that's going on in the world and that's affecting your pockets, I can't see a rally back up to all-time highs at this point. The data's not giving me that. Gold is not giving me that. The dollar selling off right now is not giving me that. The yields being where they are, even though they came down here, the fact that they moved up here is a problem, and they're moving back up. Basically the bond market is not giving me that. The yield curve from the Fed is not, when you look at the yield curve, it's not giving me that. The SOM rule is not giving me that. These things are not giving me any indicators that this should be moving up at all. And I know people wanted to go up. I know, and I feel for you guys. I know you guys are sitting here and you're like, you know, I really want my 401k to go up. I want my TSPs, the government accounts to go up. I've been investing. I'm going to wait, right? This is what you're telling yourself. It's going to go back up. It's going to go back up. I'm going to wait. Maybe I'll buy a little bit more. Got a little extra cash on the side. It's going to go back up. You can't rely on that as much as the government workers can't rely on the security of a government job anymore. You can't. So there's things you can do. You can stay with the old. You can learn how to read a chart, or you can learn how to make money when the market goes down. So that's what we're doing in my SixFourTrading community right now. We're profiting as the market goes down, and it's not a bad thing when the market goes down. Just flip. It's not a negative thing. Oh, red is negative. No, it's just what it is. You know, you make money. You understand strategies. You learn how to trade them, and you make money as the market goes down. So let's move on. That's NVIDIA. Where I think NVIDIA going on target wise, I think we're going to break below 100 on NVIDIA and just go lower. I think we're going to have to take out the 70 and probably the 30 at some point. This line right here, just fill that gap. I don't see any momentum to the upside. Tesla's been just chopping around this range. There is a trend line down here that has been respecting, which you want to watch out for. We get squeezed into this wedge corner, and then where we break up or we break down. If you break up, you probably get a rally to the top, but you want to see it break out of this range zone. I know it's a big zone, 214, 215 to 290s. It's a big area, but that area, I want this indicator on right now. That area is not able to break outside of that range. We've been chopping around in that range from the top and the bottom of it. You can make a lot of money in between this, but right now you're trending down. So my observation is to watch and see what happens this week if it trends down. You do have a long bottom upper wick, which is showing a lot of buying pressure when it gets down there. So it could push up and break above this line or retest this top. So that's a lot of points here. If you do that from here, that's 250 to like 287s, that's 30 points. That's a good move on Tesla. Let's take a look. I'm doing tech sector because I like the tech sector because the tech sector leads the entire market, in my opinion. So I look at other equities, and if all of these aren't doing good, the market is just not doing good. The indexes, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are doing terrible if these are doing terrible, and it's and vice versa. So let's take a look at Apple. Apple still has a gap to fill. It almost filled it before because the gap was here at this 208 level and moved up into it, and it got rejected, like trying to get, like got a quarter away in there, got rejected, and now we're down here. So it still has a gap to fill to the upside. At some point, this gap will get filled. Like I said, I'm not bullish or bearish. I'm just identifying, as a technical analyst, I'm identifying the trends, I'm identifying what the market is telling me. At some point that gets filled. When that gets filled is always the question. It could be a year from now. It could be 2-3 years from now. Doesn't have to get filled now. I was hoping it did because it would justify, if this thing goes higher or if it goes lower, it'll be healthy for it to do so. Now, this trend line here, and I'm going to break out to the weekly side. This trend line have been tracking right from these points. It's a major trend line. And we came out of it, pushed back up on that day or that week, and now we're sitting right on top of it. If this breaks below, again, I think we go down and test the lows here at 168 on Apple. And then if this breaks, this is a critical support area right here, around 167, 165. If this breaks, there's nothing to stop this from going down to 137s, 123s on Apple. Let's take a look at Microsoft real quick. Microsoft was in this channel, was tracking a long time ago. We broke it out of that clean. This is a clean break outside of that channel. Came out of here in the support area, had marked 4, kind of came down, broke up that week. And now we're sitting here at 368. I'll go back down to my daily chart. You can see how clean that move is from that break below the lower end of that trend line. And so if this breaks, we're probably going to test the 345s. The way the market continues how it's trading right at this present moment in time. And on Sunday, if we break down to break this line, I can see a target down here at 345. So looking at about 20 points down on Microsoft. It is not oversold at all. It's not here a little bit. You got here, got a little bit, browse back up, but not oversold right now. We're in the middle area of that selling. Let's go to the SPY. Back to the SPY. And we'll be watching out for this. Still respecting that trend line. I don't want these indicators on. Let's turn that off. Yeah, and we may this once we broke through the support area, it retested it, got rejection. I can see this coming down to retest this 481 sometime soon. Unless something in the narrative. I hope something changes. Either way, it doesn't really make me any difference because I trade in a way where, and this is what we coach is like, how to identify trends and, what does it take to trade down? What does it take to trade up? So I'm a trader. I trade both directions. Doesn't matter. So we're prepared for this. This is a doji, which means this can go back up or go back down. But this is how it is, folks. We've been chopping around pretty much all last week. This week is coming up with a lot of earnings, so this could be all over the place. I know Netflix had earnings last week and it was very good for Netflix. As expected, people are going to keep their Netflix, and they're going to go from there. This is look at the yields again. Everything's just moving up right now. This is right now. Gold is still holding and moving up, not coming down. The dollar is just really just not looking good at all. Dollar's really not looking good at all. I mean, if this keeps up, support, we have support here at 97s. If that breaks, I don't see any real support till 94s. We are extremely oversold on the dollar tracked by an RSI metrics. All right, folks, I'm Hank SixFourTrading. This was long. This is market analysis for coming up this week. So just watch out. We got a lot of chop last week. I think we're going to get a lot of volatility this week, be all over the place. And we'll see how tomorrow opens up. But right now, it looks like some of the big dogs are dumping the dollar and buying gold. All right, Hank SixFourTrading. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.